Hello everyone and welcome to another episode where I'm answering questions from the Automation Guild 2018 Roundtable Conference I was speaking at. So this question is from Stas. I'm not sure if I'm reading it right. Can you suggest approaches to introduce intentional variation of test data in automated checks? For example, running tests with same sets of data may not reveal new problems, find new bugs, or relate to specific or related to specific data. So we want to change our test data but still ensure our tests are deterministic. Is that possible? Thank you. So changing test data, and the reason I understand for asking this is that we're not finding new bugs. Well, automation is not supposed to find new bugs. That's the thing. Automation is not doing testing. Automation is doing checking, as the question says. Automated checks, it's checking. So for the most part in checking, you are not supposed to see anomalies, right? For instance, if a security guard, he goes and checks all the doors before his shift starts, when everything should be locked by the person who left previously anyway, so that's called checking. So if they say that, okay, so let's change up the routine somehow, let me come a few hours early so that I do find a door open, right? That's the objective is just to make sure that the doors are closed. So you're just, in automation, you're just checking to make sure that these are the basic stuff, this basic stuff should be working, and we're just ensuring that this is working. So that's all it is, right? So I kind of would not agree 100% with the premise here, that if you're not finding bugs in automation, then there's a problem. That might not be a good gauge to check if automation is not doing a good job, but per se having that objective that automation should find bugs, that's I think that might not be a fair statement. It would be a wrong matrix. You don't want to do that. Testers are going to find bugs. So if testers are not able to find bugs because they keep testing trivial stuff and their time is spent there, that's a problem. So automation should take over further mundane tasks that they are doing so that they can free their time and go and actually hunt issues which are getting slipped past the QA net and going into the field. Nonetheless, this question has been asked a few times earlier from me as well, that if we do want to change our data, just to make sure that if how the application is working, or just expand our feature set, right? Our test coverage, let's say. So how can we use this change up the test data in a deterministic fashion but still make changes and the test should not fail? So a short answer would be that you need to find in your product functionality what areas you can circle around boundaries about and create test data within those boundaries. For instance, if we have, let's take a really simple example of a text field, right? So if we have a text field and we are doing alphanumeric checks in the length, so you can have a function which enters random data, which is sometimes above length, sometimes it's within the range, sometimes it's above the range. Alphanumeric is the allowed character set, you're entering special characters or something like that. So that would be something, that's what I'm trying to get to. So if you have, for instance, a deterministic set of inputs, however large it may be, but it has to be deterministic, because you would need to know that if I enter values from such and such, if we enter values, such and such values, should this pass or fail, you need to have that understanding. Without that understanding, there's just no way to check, of course, if you don't know what you're checking. So you need a set of data. It can be a very large set, but it has to be a set to which this statement would hold true, that if we enter anything from within this set, it's supposed to pass. For instance, you can have the test that you are entering is according to a mathematical formula, and whatever according to that formula is being entered in there should generate a valid result, right? So if you can find those boundaries within a specific functionality of the application, then yes, you can change data and do it that way. The random field thing, I think, is a very common way, but just if you expand it from the field to page level or module level, but then you still would need that boundary, and you would need to create a large set, or to make sure you have a function which creates random data or a random sequence, but within a deterministic set, to make sure that it's you are able to check if this is a valid output or not. The catch here is, I would not recommend absolutely jeopardizing your framework's robustness by just for trying to catch bugs through automation, because flakiness is the most sought for solution is the most sought for problem that people are trying to solve with automation frameworks, and you do not want to get into flakiness. That's a no-no. So to avoid flakiness, and test data can play a very important part in adding flakiness to your tests. So you just need to make sure that you're not going towards that side. And lastly, if you are looking for some more data on methods of creating test data and how different ways you can create test data for your application, if you want to add randomness to it, I some time ago wrote an article for Test Magazine, which was our journey of creation of test data, which we did for one product, and I've added a comprehensive list there, so probably that might be of some help as well. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, add them in the comments below. If you find this video useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to join us in redefining software quality. See you next time.